unless anyone in chat is asking, am I sure it's not Prokhorovka? No, guys, it is Muravanka. I got it right this time.
Who knows, maybe in Ryan's system this is Prokhorovka now.
I thought this was Ghost Town, actually, but the sign says Muravanka. Prokhovanka, something Vanka at the end of it.
Depends. But there is aggressive push here by eSuba. Yes, they're defending, but they do want to deny that upper cap to Gunrunners. Ooh, Enrico is getting beaten up already.
Enrico getting the drop there, getting dropped on, sadly, so I say, as Combat wants to peek and get a shot at him. Enrico took one to the front and then one from the back. Combat has shells waiting, and you can see him just trying to edge and peekaboo. It's going to be dangerous. Combat wants to get that shot. He does get one already, not somebody else. Comes over from the shoulder, as Pratilicek shoots right past Combat to pick up that kill.
Careful, Combat. You still need to farm me a lot of points because I have you and Ducky and Ryan don't.
Yeah, there's no Tomasek in this lineup. That's breaking my heart right now.
I was about to say that, but I just left to see will you notice it.
Thanks, Mojo. It's very kind of you.
Well, no problem, mate. I still have Luke in there and Yuket, and they are, well, playing.
We'll see how they do. We'll see how they do. So this is an interesting trade already. Gunrunners have lost Enrico. Danny in the mouse, of course. If there's a character tank in this team, we would expect to see Danny playing it. He's going to push round here into Froley, Mojo. Bold move?
No, he's just trying to angle up because they really can't pen him yet. But they need to compensate for the loss of Enrico because now Mouse cannot really go around the corner and be safe because Bachat can harass him a lot. Now they are probably in the old-fashioned style of Gunrunners debating for like a minute what if they're gonna do. But once they do, if YOLO command goes, it may go well for them, you know that.
Yeah, the Gunrunners kind of need to go full YOLO. I mean, they've lost a tank, but they still have the HP advantage here over eSuba.
I wonder why. Oh, wait, they have a mouse.
A mouse!
I mean, if you compare a mouse to one of the Bachats, it's just humble 1200 HP difference there.
Do you know that's actually one of the most common commands now in chat? If you type in mouse, then after I think it's 30 seconds or 60 seconds, Nightbot will reply back in capital letters mouse. So it is on a timer delay, guys, so don't need to keep spamming mouse. But Nightbot always answers in capital letters.
So you're trying to provoke people to say mouse.
Mouse!
And we have a really slow game here. The problem is now Gunrunners losing that Bachat so early are kind of hesitant what to do. Let's say Mouse is not the biggest fan of rotations on the map. That maximum brilliant speed of 20 kilometers per hour, acceleration even with, I don't know, NOS built in, would still make him go not faster than 20 kilometers per hour. Amazing thing is, if you even go downhill with Mouse, you don't go faster than 20 kilometers per hour. So yeah, no big rotation there coming in, and they will have to work around with a lower number of Bachats, because they lost one, so they have 2 baby Bachats left and 1 tier 10 Bachat. And they have to still dig out where is Overus hidden in his 1390, and they know he's somewhere on the lower side of the map.
Storm taking a bit of damage there on his E5 for peeking, as we're looking at the view from Overus hiding in his bush with Will and Undrax coming over. Storm taking another shot there on the back line. Looks like Combat was clipping out into him. As Danny's trying to get shots, you can just see him coming off reload there. Looks like he was perhaps trying to connect with Froley in the E5, who he was facing off with earlier. And Storm being forced to back off here now. Martin here in the middle of the town with no crossfire shots as he's sitting all by himself as we're looking through his viewpoint. If you are a fan of Gunrunners or eSuba, we have their Facebook links at the top of the screen at the moment. Drop by, give them hello, give them a ahoy or a chest. I don't know, chest is Polish. I'm running out of Czech things to say. Ahoy works for sure, I know that. And that's my limited Czech vocabulary. Other than Yakshimash.
Well, Ondrex and Will are going through the lower side of the map. Combat don't get shot. And they're trying to provoke some kind of reaction from eSuba. But of course, eSuba has to do absolutely nothing in this game. They just need to wait. They already have the advantage of 1 tank, 1 gun more. They really don't have to bother with shooting Danny here. But Pratilicek is wasting so much HP. And he's tracked here, actually.
He's tracked, he's spotted, but nobody actually has an angle on him, and he's able to get away, but he did get a damaged ammo rack as well, Mojo. He drops over that hill into safety. Now, Unji takes a bit of damage, and the Gorilla there on Gunrunner's side, and Gunrunners are slowly starting to chip away the damage of eSuba here and push into them.
This is really important how Pretelicek wasted that HP and he has a dead Amorek. There we go on Drex and Will. Second attempt to see where that light tank is. Still, there is some advantage here for the eSuba side, but that can be negated in one really strong push, as we've seen already done on Murovanka today.
Now, how are you going to do this one, Gunrunners? You've got Undrax probing down the bottom there. You've got Storm coming around again here. Danny looks like he's going to push round in the mouse and take the charge. He's actually going towards the cap circle, which is coming down over the hill. He's going to trigger the cap and try and bait out some tanks from eSuba into shooting him. Yukiet's there coming over the hill and was potentially going to be shot at from Storm. It's Pretelicek. You see the connection coming in there from the left-hand side. He gets one of Storm. Storm blind fires back but doesn't connect.
Danny is right there under the cap trying to angle his tank. And there we go. He knows the biggest danger for him for decapping is combat. But combat needs to be really careful. You can see how heat ammo doesn't really pen mouse when he's well angled. It's just not going to happen. If it was a Bacha there, Lukin would do it rather easy because they would not be able to bounce anything. But like this, it's more or less all about combat and what he does.
Combat has an angle, knows he didn't get spotted. Danny lit here all the time, his name in yellow. Now Storm has just gone unspotted. See Unji trying to get crossfire shots at Lukin back there, so you can see the tracers coming over Danny's shoulder. It's going to be a difficult shot for Unji to try and penetrate, as it looks like he tries again and misses. I mean, there's no hurry right now for eSuba to go for the cap reset, but Combat might try it now.
I think Combat found a decent angle, and he's saying to the guys not to risk it too much because you see how he's keeping the aim. There we go.
Reset, very bold move there from Combat and nicely done. Forcing Gunners into having to do something more here, Mojo.
But he's just using other people's spot and he's shooting far away behind. He's using the simple game mechanics. When you fire 15 meters away from the bush, that's what happens. But look at the counter push coming in from the Gunrunners.
Will and Martin rushing in to deal with Combat to get him eliminated quickly. But look at all the damage coming back as Will gets dropped by Lukin in the Kranwagen. Martin now between a rock and a hard place. They were able to get counter shots back into Lukin. It's now a 2 cap at the moment, 2 tank cap. And Froy's going to have to peek round this corner to do something.
Overus is still spotting the lower part. They need him to slow down Ondrax from the back because now they're forced to push from the front side and from the 3 line so they can actually duel these tanks. It's going to be all-around shootout now.
Frawley missed the connection on the first one, but he does land the second one as Andrew comes round to clip into Storm. Now look at Danny getting caught in the middle here. They're just going to drive past him, get him shots in the rear as Ondrax is dueling with Overus here in the middle. Overus has 2 shots, but he's a 1390 against the Batchat. Danny is about to go down. Frawley's now just going to deal with him face to face as Danny gets a parting shot into Andrew dropping over the hill. One more and Danny's dead. He's side armor to Frawley. That should be an easy kill as at the same time Lukin is able to get a kill on E5, and this is going to be eSuba taking round 1 here on Murovanka. Gunrunners pushed all in at the end there, Mojo, but it just didn't quite go in their favour.
No, they tried to do something, of course, as they must, but simply earlier loss of that Batchat was good tactics by eSuba. They predicted well what will Gunrunners do, and they stopped them from doing it in a start. And simply Gunrunners, with that kind of setup of tanks, had no answer after it.
Yukiet's there just waiting for Unji to drive through the building and destroy it and then quickly finish him off at the end there. And nicely played there from eSuba. They just kind of played it patiently, waited it out for Gunrunners to make their move and then committed with a really strong counter-attack.
This is what I also said, if you remember on last game. If Kazna had a Kranwagen in that corner,
yes, where Lukin was, yeah.
Yes, this could have been completely another kind of game for Kazna because they wouldn't lose them so fast. He can peek and shoot forward. He can shoot on the other side. He can put a reload. If someone wants to go over the hill to attack him, there are other people shooting those tanks. So he would be a constant threat. They had 2 Kranwagens in a lower position. That's just not position from them. They lose so much HP shot from the sides.
Yep, I think in past tactics we've seen Kazna with an E5 in that area, with usually Haiba sitting in that area. But nope, nicely done there from eSuba. Now let's have a look at the stats, Mojo, and see just how much damage the players on you and Daki's team did there.
Well, Yukits is the second one, but I mean Frol is the first, so that's the only thing that matters here. Yukits is the second one. I think we all have him. Combat is the third. Thank you very much, Combat. And then we have Lukin. So that's for me. I'm good.
It's doing well for you. Yep, we all have UKets. Me and Daki have Andrew, who's down there at 6. You have Lucan and Combat Mojo. So
But it's
yeah.
not about us. It's also something about these players here. So the top 5 players here are from eSuba.
Yep. Well played there from eSuba. I mean, look at this. 5 players from Gunrunners on the second page. Danny was able to get some damage out there on the mouse. But, I mean, Enrico, he got focus fire at the start. But Will was in that match for a long time. He only actually connected 1 shot. He only got 2 shots out before he went down.
Well,
Storm,
that was the second push, and he died in the same place where Enrico died in the start.
Storm, 13 shots and only 1 actually connected there. I think he spent most of his time either blind firing or trying to hit that Kranwagen. Yep, unfortunate there. Nice read from eSuba into what Gunrunners were doing, and they were perfectly prepared for it.
Yeah, they were 2 steps ahead, so that kind of failed from the start. I mean, Gunrunners could have tried to play something less predictable a bit there, but their own aggressive play in the start kind of bounced off back of them. But that's kind of a risk you take in this game. Sometimes it works off, and some of the blind plays can actually pay off heavily because they are super hard to predict.
Yeah, it's always a difficult map to approach sometimes because you kind of know what the enemy team's doing, but sometimes it's just 1 or 2 shots in the middle of a fight, or even 1 or 2 shots before the main fight happens, is what actually completely swings the battle in the other team's favour.
If Combat died in the start of the game, it would be a whole another story.
Yeah,
because then they could push a mouse there, trigger a cap, play much easier, and then eSuba would be the one in a problem, and they would have to charge into the guns of GRS.
Yep.
It just didn't happen in this game because they defended that position perfectly.
The killing shot as well, when Combat was facing off against Enrico there, Combat was right against the window, and the shot from Pratilicek came right over his shoulder, so that was like, you know, a bold shot there from Pratilicek.
No, but he's a Kranwagen, so he's in perfect position to do it. He's right behind him, he's in cooldown, no one can really penetrate him, and he's just covering his teammate. That's the best position you can have for a Kranwagen like that.
Yeah, but all I mean is the shot he took was kind of risky. Could have potentially hit his teammate.
Who cares?
Mojo!
Damage!
No, blue on blue. No team damage. Team damage bad, Mojo. Bad.
Damage!
You can't damage farm by shooting your teammates, Mojo. It doesn't work that
Although
way.
I played some random today and one guy shot me with like tier 9 big alpha tank destroyer in the back because he just missed someone. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, now let's have a look at the lineups in round 2 here, Mojo, where eSuba are now going to be attacking against Gunrunners, and eSuba bringing with them an artillery. We talked about this in the previous match, actually.
eSuba going here with tier 9 RT. We're actually expecting Gunrunners to do that because Danny would play then.
It just takes artillery in every match.
But this is a mind play of eSuba. We are going to take a tier 9 RT. We actually seen Frolic can play decent RT here. I wonder who would play it this time. Maybe Combat. He also plays RTs.
Okay, I wonder who is going to play. Indeed, that's going to be interesting. Now, from Gunrunners with their defensive lineup, Mojo, what do you think is going to happen here?
Obviously, they are set up to position toward the top cap, like eSuba was now. Kranwagen in a corner somewhere, IS4 lower, Grille in the back. If they do try some trap toward the forest, I think it would be super foolish move, honestly. They don't have the tanks to do it so, and they would be easily outmaneuvered. So that would not be the best play for them. But playing against RT does require some ingenuity, especially when you play against tier 9 RT. Because, let's face it, I mean, even M40 has a humongous splash compared to the other RTs, and tier 9 is far better. So direct hit or a hit next to the tank are really good damage farm, and Kranwagen and IS4 are obviously the best possible targets for them because it's going to be super hard to hide them.
So who'd you give it to then?
Actually, in this game, I think attack might win. So eSuba maybe even start lead 2-0.
eSuba 2-0. Now, I think it was actually eSuba that said in the interview when they start to lose, if they go down 2-0 or they go down by a margin of 2, it's just generally heads down, team just plays sloppy, and it's a landslide. Could this be another potential landslide going for eSuba, or do you think that's too early to call?
eSuba is leading 1-0, so it's not going to be a landslide.
My bad. Landslide for Gunrunners.
I don't know. Maybe Danny will do some happy meme or soundboard
well, here's
pressure and they will just boost up.
Here's what worries me. If it gets to Ghost Town, they'll probably bring the Jagdpanzer. Now, we've got Prokhorovka after Himmelsdorf, and we've seen what they did on Prokhorovka against Ding. So, Himmelsdorf, we saw Foshes being used, So what we have here after Muravanka, no map is safe from the Gunrunners' unusual picks. Nothing is safe. Nothing can be predicted.
Yeah, but
as Daki says, predict the unpredictable and then you're okay. Expect the unexpected.
oh, Daki the Ninja. Great
Daki,
words,
wise
senpai.
man ninja, sensei Daki, as they call him here in the office.
Yeah, but like when we go back to reality, Himmelsdorf is the map where usually eSuba takes at least one side from any team.
Any team, yeah, they wrecked Ding.
So they usually take one side. If they manage to take a 2-0 when we are already in theory crafting, if they manage to take their attack here on Himmelsdorf, if they take one, it's already 3-1. I mean, if they play 1-1 after that all the time, you know how it goes. It's a game.
Yeah, it can always go trade for trade at the moment. Now, we're just about ready to jump into the action on Muravanka. Now, eSuba are going to be on the red side. They're going to be attacking, and we're going to see Gunrunners on the blue side defending. I think I'm going to give it to Gunrunners because, 1-1's going to be interesting. We're going to be then going into Himmelsdorf, and then Himmelsdorf's got a lot to play, and I still think there's surprises from this Gunrunners lineup. So let's see exactly how this one's going to go. Mojo, are you going to be right with eSuba, or is it me going to be right with Gunrunners?
I just think eSuba has at the moment better lineup for this kind of play, and it can pay off more, but of course it will be how the participants do it. Also, I kind of have a feeling that eSuba has a good knack how to play against Gunrunners, specifically against them.
We played a lot against each other last season in Silver Series. Now they're taking an expected defensive lineup here. I mean, how are Gunrunners going to break this one down?
Well, Gunrunners, while they're defending, they're going to not break anything much. But the eSuba, what they're going to try is to get decent spots and then just pound them with RT for like 5 or 6 minutes. And if they connect anything significant, they're going to just see where the defense is weakest and press with everything we have and just play it on. Of course, if they manage to dig out Sigo on the way before that, perfect! They might actually trigger the 2-cap even then. You can see how hard defense is of eSuba in the upper part. Pratelicek, Juket, and Lukin. 3 tanks covering the RT there because they do expect that Gunrunners might do something like a huge push up to try to clear those lines. And if they run in this kind of crossfire, it's gonna be for sure something that Gunrunners would have to pay heavily and probably even lose the game.
Frawley almost committing there, going quite aggressive there towards Sigo. Now Storm is in an overwatch position where he can shoot past Sigo into Frawley at the bottom of the map. Now over here on the right side of the map, there isn't any real action. Pratelicek is sitting back on the corner. You can see Lukin using that gun depression of the Kramwagen to peek over that hill and be an absolute pain in the butt to try and shoot at. Now Combat, where's he aiming at the moment? He's aiming into H5. It's a guess on a bush there. And is that where Sigo is? No, Sigo's actually a bit further down, isn't he?
It didn't look like the best aimed shot here because he missed the bush by a mile.
Yep,
He should have been a bit more patient there, Combat.
In between pretty much J and K6 at the moment.
Sigo is far away from there.
Yeah, on the road.
He's really, really far away from there. But the thing is, if I7 would approach the position there on K6, he would have a huge chance to actually spot Sigo. It does look like these tanks from Gunrunners are positioned to shoot a bit there and to counter push the other side if needed. But honestly, I don't like Sigo's position because he is giving them the early spot, but I think that can be dug out rather easily if eSuba was secure how to do it.
Frawley got spotted all the way back there at H9, Mojo. Is that from Sigo?
Sigo is the only guy who can spot him there.
But I mean, does that not give eSuba any information? Because it looks like they're not taking it. It looks like they're just all gathering up north. They're going to try and do an oops, it looks like, perhaps.
This is just a nonsense because they have still 7 minutes. They need to approach, they need to position at least Kranwagen here in hold down on that 3 line so they can fan out the tanks from the corner. Maybe what they can do is position there maybe Overus or Lukin or both and then approach lower line where Sigo is because then they will suffer less damage because Anji and Ondrex will have to pull away and Sigo will effectively be almost alone, just covered by Storm. And Storm can be easily shot then.
Now, will eSuba, oh sorry, yeah, will eSuba take that bait though? Will they go for it? Or is it going to just be passive at the moment? You can see the tanks here all just staying still and aiming everywhere.
So Ryan, in a special color, just for you,
Yeah!
what I expect is to eSuba to press here
It's purple.
and dominate this area to deny them the presence here. Because Sigo, while he's aggressively spotting, the only thing protecting are these tanks and Storm. So if these guys have to go back like this, then the other team can just simply approach from this side. They can position a tank here. If they are still spotted, they can even go to the house here and find Sigo effectively. And if they take these positions, they can either trigger the cap or just use the RT in their advantage and just push in after a while.
Okay. Thank you for using purple there, Mojo. It's my favorite color.
This is the only thing you saw on the screen, right?
It tastes purple.
Where is your purple shirt? You just save it for go-kart matches?
I may be saving it for tomorrow, maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
but you're actually very colorful. I just noticed.
You
like
never noticed
there is
that. Like,
eSuba and Gunrunners are playing today, and he's wearing a blue shirt. You're so trendy.
I always mix up my shirts. I think I have something like 7 or 8 different shirts that I'll mix it up with.
Oh, wow. Why don't you wear like a yellow one for Oops?
I can try and get a yellow one. Or I can. I've got a black one as well that I've not worn yet.
But that's for Kaz Ding.
Just, you know, it's hard, Mojo. You know, cutting edge of style here. You could just be like you and Daki and just wear white shirts all the time.
You can go take your bow ties in different colors, man.
Oh, you need to wear the bow tie soon, son. It's going to happen. You're going to lose a bet, Mojo.
You have to win the one first.
Hey, I wore the bow tie out of sympathy. I've won both bets with Daki.
But not against me.
But hey, we can have a bet right now, Mojo, if you want.
Oh,
You're tempting fate here. Are you sure about this, laddie? Are you sure about it?
Let's see, let's see.
What do you want to bet on, Mojo?
At the moment, nothing. I don't see anything specific going on.
Because the handshake has to be done on screen.
Of course, but Yukis is
Got
taking some
massive
damage from
damage
that
there.
grille.
739 in the face from Unji, and Unji's unspotted as well when he did that.
That was actually really peculiar, but yeah, he managed to do it. He was probably surprised himself. But now he is spotted and eSuba is slowly closing their ranks. But still, so many time is wasted and they achieved nothing with this tier 9 RT yet. Finally, Sigo is found and he will pretty much die soon, 200.
Overus goes in the cap. Now, Danny missed the shot as he drove past there. The rest of his team are coming in to reset as well. Will's getting a shot into Overus. Overus taking a huge amount of damage for this, as is looking, as is Frawley at the moment. Gunrunners with the advantage. They've lost Sigo, they've lost the scout. Now, looking to still alive here on 23 health, and eSuba are starting to turn this one around. Look at the health falling here on Gunrunner. Storm has already dropped. Ondrax is now down to a one shot. He also has a damaged gun. He's tracked wherever he is right now, but nobody has a shot on him. And eSuba still 7 guns available to them, including artillery, however. But no, that's down to 6 because Overus has just died.
Don't forget, Andrew is coming in now, and he's gonna have shells that no one from Gunrunners will. So Andrew will be actually a great player for you and Ducky at the moment. Anji is gonna be the next one on a chopping board, as Ducky would say. So Will and Martin on those heavies will not make a huge difference in this game because they're deliberately left over by Suba guys while they're focusing the important tanks, the Clippers.
eSuba here continuing to push onto Gunrunners. They are the attacking team. They want it. They have the overmatch. Pratilicek coming in here. All clip available to him as he's going to start shooting into Martin, try and get round beside him. And like you said, Mojo, the paper-thin armour then of the heavies becomes absolutely redundant as the Batchat's able to clip into him. Will's trying to protect him, but that's not going to do anything here because Ukets can now come in the back as well and get shots into him. As you see Pratilicek finish off. Pratilicek might die for this, actually. Will might be able to get the kill on him. Nope, he's surviving slightly. Oh, he gets away. Sliver of health, 102. And Will, you're all on your own, mate. All by yourself. And this one is going to be eSuba taking the lead 2-0.
Will is tracked their damage gun. Yes, he has some HP and armor, but that's about that. He will fire one shot once they're loaded, and they're just gonna go on him like mad dogs and finish him up. I mean, they can choose whatever they want to do, and obviously they chose to kill him.
They say where there's a will, there is a way, but not today for Gunrunners as eSuba looking to finish this match out. Are they going to leave it for the artillery shot? No, it's Andrew who gets the killing blow, and there we have it. eSuba 2-0 on Muravanka, and Gunrunners, I mean, the fights were close. but eSuba just coming out on top there.
We didn't bet on the result, definitely.
We didn't, but as I said, the handshake has to be on
of course.
screen.
We
If
didn't
we
bet
do
on
the
it.
handshake on screen, then people can see it. So,
Yes, so
Mojo,
Ducky cannot go
what's
out
the
of
wager?
it.
Is this where you say, I think eSuba are going to win because they're 2-0 up, or do you have something else you want to
I already said I think they're going to win.
Okay.
That doesn't count anymore.
It's not a bet I really want to take, to be honest. If it was like a particular map and you're like, I think they're going to win this map, I'll be like, okay, like, I'll shake on that beforehand. But right now, I would say I think eSuba are going to win this one.
Mm.
You know, so that's not.
You can live dangerous always.
No. I'm
you
not
like to wear ties anyways.
I'm not like Daki. I take bets where I think there's a good chance. Daki is, you know, I'm never wrong unless I'm wrong. Daki's motto or whatever, you know. Daki's never wrong. If Daki is wrong, rule 2, see rule number 1.
The wild card for eSuba here, Pratelicek doing the top damage here. You never know it with this guy. But in this game, 3.7k damage. Brilliant. Martin following here with Kranwagen 3.3 for Gunrunners, but that's just not enough. The push looked strong in one moment that Gunrunners performed, but then the Clippers from eSuba just kicked in and starting doing the work for them. Andrew also doing a really good damage and 3 kills there.
Yep. Very nicely done there from eSuba. Now, I was going to have to rack my brains up here, Mojo. What can I think can be a good bet for Mojo? It's a kind of, not a safe bet, but it has a good 50-50, you know, potential. The only other one I was thinking about are, I'll bet you that Gunrunners takes the Jagdpanzer E100 in a map, but there's no way you would take that one either, because you never know what Gunrunners are going to bring. I'd love to gamble and say I think they're going to bring a T-95, but I haven't spoken to them, so I can't. There's no way I would put a bet out like that. So
I think you will have to wait for next patch on Wednesday to see something like that. It's too early.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps.
And then it's gonna be a bet because it's gonna be certainty.
True. Well, I think then, I mean, we're going to go Himmelsdorf, Prokhorovka. Himmelsdorf, you've already given it to eSuba. They always
I
take
think
a round.
it's gonna be at least 1-1.
At least 1-1. I don't want to say 2-0 Gunrunners because I don't think. I mean, this is going to be difficult. We can't do the bow tie all the time as well because it's too common. Then it's not special.
We need to buy that clown nose.
The clown nose. We need to think of something else, like a pink shirt or something. But we have to be careful because if it's anything, if we make a wager that results in somebody having to buy something, Daki just straight up doesn't want to do it. So I had to buy the bow ties.
We can bet in PC parts with Aki. He has
PC parts.
some that he needs to lose now, considering he dropped like glass of water on his own.
Oh, Mojo, I wasn't going to bring that up. I mean, Daki
it's a sad fact of life. It's a member of the family, a respected one.
The reason that I wasn't going to bring it up is because when I'm casting with Daki tomorrow, Daki will say, "So Ryan, how's the new phone?" And that's just that's a no-go subject as far as I'm concerned. Let's have a look at the lineups here. eSuba, Gunrunners. Now we're seeing an E3 coming out there on eSuba's side.
Well, eSuba attacking here with 350Bs. That's a lot of mobility there, combined with that E3 armor. So yes, it definitely looks like they will use it from the hillside, but honestly, with this kind of lineup, they might perform some kind of trick along the rail. If they manage to dominate the lower side of the rail and position E3 to go frontal, upwards, it might be their play also. So there is a potential for that in this game also. Gunrunners on the other side also have a really mobile setup with only IS-4 with the slower tank to dominate the upper cap.
So can eSuba go 3-0 up, or is it going to be Gunrunners bringing it back to 2-1? Let's find out. Let's jump into Himmelsdorf.
Himmelsdorf, a small city map. The teams start the battle in opposite corners. Both bases are located close to each other, but in a way that you can't stay on the defensive all the time. The main attack routes pass through the hill, the alley and the railroad, but in general, the attack can be successfully executed through any part of the map. Heavy tanks and tank destroyers with powerful guns run the show here. However, a lot depends on the mobile light tanks.
Okay, now Gunrunners are on the blue side, they're defending, eSuba on the red side attacking. This is eSuba with the blue and white camouflage, and there's a little choo-choo train just to move that E3 up there quicker.
They're moving up on a hill. Obviously, they do want to play aggressive from the hill. Desek step. Did I see him? No, it's Overus. Oh my god.
What?
Never mind. It's a guy who used to play there. Overus is spotting the middle there, and with his light tank, while everyone else is going super fast over the hill. Maybe they are guessing that Martin is actually left alone by Gunrunners back in a base.
Now they are rushing the hill. They're going to get position, get over there quite quickly. Gunrunners have the defensive line set up down the rails here. It's a fairly spread out and fairly standard defensive lineup, I would say, Mojo, when they're not quite sure where the enemy team is yet.
As I told you before, I really think that eSuba has something like a really good guesswork against Gunrunners, because to me, when they play, it looks like they're really reading into them a lot.
It looks like they're second guessing them and they're planning ahead. I mean, what does generally happen between these two teams, though, is that when it comes into the brawls are scrappy between the two of them. The brawls come in really close, but tactically, it looks like eSuba is always 1-2 steps ahead of Gunrunners. Now, Seagull got the spot there.
Nice connection here by Angie.
And a great connection on combat there. 771 damage there from the Gorilla as the rest of Gunrunners come, eSuba come running down the hill, and Gunrunners are going to have to scramble back from the rails to defend this.
Yeah, this is going to be a really heavy cap pressure now going there for eSuba. They do have a light they can use, and they're positioning the rest of the tanks. They will also have immediate monitoring of the 8 line. Let's see how will they position the other tanks, because if they don't position anyone down, that means that actually they want to play on counterattack.
And look at this as all three autoloaders there aiming down the road there, Mojo, expecting the push to come from the bottom. And if Enrico peaks, he is going to get absolutely annihilated once he goes round that corner. Nope, he stays in the courtyard, so that's actually probably going to save his life.
Ondrax is pressing toward the top of the hill. Ondrax is player for Gunrunners, the blue team. So he will clash one-on-one with Frawley there, who is waiting and covering the back of eSuba players. Lukin is covering the 8 line for them, and everyone else is just positioned for a counterattack frontal. That can be a really weird choice, because they might get resetted from the back.
I was going to say, at what point did AMXs just pull back and try and triple cap? I mean, they're turned around, they're angling the other way. UKS is still aiming down the line. Lukin missing here against Enrico. They're trading on the banana roads. Now, the rest of Gunners are starting to peek around this corner. They see the tanks, and Seagull almost gets eliminated already as the reset comes in there, shoots him in the back, and eSuba's gun line wasn't prepared for that. Martin's now moving up along the top as well.
They're just positioning the tanks for counterattack on either side. You can see Combat is watching their front, so they do know there is no real pressure coming from there, but the 50Bs were ready. If there is something, they can just, you know, split their forces and immediately go with 50Bs on any of the sides. That's why they're moving back now at the moment.
Overus just peeked a little bit too much back there to avoid the shot from Enrico, and Martin was able to clip him out in the back. Now, this position where Martin is, you've said before, when Dinger playing in this area, Meritorious can write a book about dying there.
In a lot of miserable ways, mate, and he's making new ones as we go, because that's usually how his games on Himmelsdorf end up. But Ondrax and Frawley need to play a careful game there, because if one careless shot of damage received can actually decide the winner in this game. Because a Bacha that wins that game can go and freely clip the enemy from the back.
Yep, but pretty much the minute a tank falls, there's going to be a crazy push from either side as they're trying to do a little push there over the top. Danny and Enrico trying to send a tank over there on the rubble, on Hyber's rubble pile. As Pratilicek, Ukets and Andrew come round, and this might actually be a good time to listen into eSuba's TeamSpeak.
Já prohraju, co neděl, já prohraju to.
No, jak?
Pojď ke mně, Frode.
Yes, do it.
Tak, tohle byla mrtka. Pát na kopci.
Škoda.
Pát na kopci je low, jako já se
na
nejedu.
Kurva, co vy? Já mám 2.
Někdo pro něj musí.
Já pro ně jedu.
Je vystřílený.
Bčko tady. Luky ne?
Luky
Nemůžu. Bčko jede, Andrew.
Jo, já nemůžu, já nabijím ještě.
Tady je 113 u mě.
Dej 113 dám, dej dáš ji ránu? Komande?
Nedám, nabijím. Jedu.
Bčko 2 venku. Dám mi tady 2 rány.
Musíš. No, jde.
Do it.
Bčko track.
Ještě ránu.
Vil má 3 pryč.
Bčko nemá už. Bčko nemá, je vystřílený.
Vil 3, Luky ne.
Ty na kopci mají, ale.
Vil má 3 pryč. Můžeš. Nemůžu.
Mají 2 tanky na ránu, 1 na 2.
Teď mu můžeš dát, pojď, Luky ne.
Nice,
a schov se. Na to Bčko, už budu mít nabito brzo.
To poslat 13.
Kolik má tohle Bčko HP?
500 asi.
500 na ránu pro tebe.
Bude mít nabito.
Nebo jak to vidí?
Má nabito už.
Bude mít nabito určitě.
Má hodně HPek, ty vole.
Teď zdrotovat na jedničku prostě, úplně na
Okay, no, tak se stane.
Já nemám řidiče, mě to nepojede.
Tak kepuj jednič, tak kepuj dvojku, nemůžeš.
Nemůže.
Já to mám dlouhý, jo.
Andrew, ty to zrotuj aspoň.
Já to zrotuju uličkou.
Jo, uličkou musíš.
Tak co kdybych odsouval ještě aspoň do té uličky? To je blbost asi.
Teoreticky můžeš takhle, zkus to. Overus může začít kepovat jedničku, tady bude kombat jenom.
Tak ne.
Tak ne, no.
To ještě je hratelný tohle jako.
Je?
Co kdybych jel na hill, je času dost ještě.
Jo, zkus.
To jsou 2 tanky one shot jako.
Co?
Tady ty
A
3
to,
tanky
to
máš na celý
Bčko
zásobník.
možná projelo zpátky. Nahoru neprojelo. 90.
Jo, mě teď rozsvítí. Píč.
Mě taky.
No jen si to hlídejte, ještě máme čas.
No dobře, kombat ještě moc.
Okay, so for a while there, Mojo, it looked like it was 50-50, but losing the AMX there, Overus going down to Will in the 50B, you think that's perhaps thrown it here?
It can come back easily to eSuba now, because if he picks up Sigo, Andrew, he will have an advantage. Ondrax cannot really face the 50B in a cooldown. He will have to go way behind the corner, and then everything can happen, because then Lukin might be free to rotate a bit, and they can freely leave combat there and just let him play behind the sandbags, because they can cover him from the distance. It's still everyone's game. There is 3 minutes left, and I think it's enough time for eSuba to break the game in their advantage. But of course, the HP that Will has, that's focused around him, 1200, might be a deciding factor here, because even if his teammates fall, he might actually bring it to the victory.
Andrew's going to get the drop on Seagull here. Oh, he missed with the first one. Gets him with the second one, took a little bit of damage himself, but now are we going to see that Batchat come running up? That's what I was expecting. I was going to say is Ondrax going to come running up, but Ondrax can be one-shotted by Will. Sorry, by Andrew.
It's a big problem, because Andrew was not a one-shot, and he came surprising to Sigo. So receiving this one shell actually might be a game decider here, completely. And certainly, who wins this duel here will probably bring a victory to his team.
Ondrax pulled away, and Andrew had no idea that Ondrax was climbing there to fight him, so it could have been really bad for Andrew. Ondrax could have potentially picked up a free kill there, and still might do, as Andrew has to peek over the hill here. It's going to be down to reactions, really. Can Andrew make this peek? Can he predict where Ondrax is going to be?
One blind shot him. He spotted Ondrax, but he doesn't know from where exactly. He's just guessing the corner there. And now I think Andrew will have to reload.
You have to reload, but you have to push as well, because I've seen Ondrax can't cross the other road because combat's sitting down that road.
Yeah, they will gather up now, and it will be all or nothing. We did say the games between these two come super close, and this will be one of them. Of course, Himmelsdorf is a really bloody map, and they know to battle each other there for quite a while. Lukin now taking a great risk.
Lukin drives across there. Now Will can clip out into him. He's got one shot into him. Lukin got a dead driver from that. All the HP's on Will. Oh, but Danny is able to peek round and get the kill on Lukin. Ondrax then gets the kill on Andrew, and this one is going to Gunrunners. Only combat is left here. He's sitting in a cap circle, and Gunrunners can just envelop him and take him either from the right, the left, or behind. And there's no way that he can deal with that from all the different angles.
I just have a feeling that eSuba threw this around a bit, because if they displaced their tanks a bit better and played it out better in the end, they would win it. But still, this was a defense of Himmelsdorf, and Gunrunners picked it. This makes this match much more interesting for us, evening the odds, because it's 2-1 now for eSuba.
2-1 for eSuba indeed, and I'm kicking myself because beforehand I was really considering betting with you
but
who was
I
going to
would
win
have
that
to
round.
first accept the bet and everything.
True, true. Do you still think eSuba are going to do it this round?
Yes.
Let's go for it then. Okay, next time me Mojo cast, whoever loses this prediction has to wear the bow tie. Or a bow tie. So I'm predicting Gunrunners for the win for this round on Himmelsdorf. You're predicting eSuba for the win. Come on, Gunrunners. Don't do it, Gunrunners. Don't let me down. Don't go with crazy picks. Mojo, I think you're going to wear a bow tie, mate. It's going to happen.
So we pick each other's colors.
Wow, no, because that means I've got to go out and buy more bow ties, and I've already got 2 bow ties.
No, we'll just...
You can supply the bow tie then if you want to pick the colours.
Okay.
Okay, oh god. It's going to come in with like one of these giant clown ones.
You called it, bro.
Let's have a look at the stats in that round. Why did I do this, Mojo? I'm already thinking it's perhaps not a good idea. Will coming out top damage there in the AMX 50B, 3.3k damage, 4 kills. And Andrew then from eSuba coming out 2.9k damage and 3 kills. So certainly those two powerhouses for their teams.
Really well played here. Andrew boys farming your points for you and Ducky like a powerhouse. So that's doing rather well. Will, Ondrex, Angie, Enrico, and Dani on a top page here for the Gunrunners. At the end, it really mattered how they played with those 50Bs. And I would say surviving of Ondrex till the end pretty much won them the round.
Yeah, definitely. It was very vital. I mean, Will still had all that HP, and like you said, the scout, all he needed to do was kind of keep Will spotted. Instead, he got himself shot, which was unfortunate.
It was not best play by Overus.
Martin in that IS-4, the place where tanks go to die.
The graveyard of IS-4s.
So whoever just takes that short straw, it's like, mate, you're going to be in cap, you've got to do the reset, then you're going to die. 230-90s, well, wasn't a lot expected from them, but even Froley coming in at 11th place there, still 1,200 damage, so a lot of damage spread across the board for the teams there, but mainly the kills being isolated to the performers at the top of the board.
Of course, Martin's position paid off heavily for them because while the 50Bs were clipping in on him, they actually lost the entire 50B and some HP on the others. They lost the reload, so that allowed some leverage to Gunrunners to recover from the loss of a tank and reposition. So that actually worked well for them because if they didn't kill the 50B, if that 50B remained even on one shot, they might have lost the game because of that.
Yep, indeed, it was very close in the end there. Now the teams are going to swap positions. We're going to see, I can't even remember who, because the colours are so similar, it's blocked in my head. So this time it's going to be Gunrunners on the attack
and
eSuba on the defence this time round. Now, I was getting mixed up previously, it was Gunrunners Go Hard, because I kept nearly saying Gun Hard and Go Runners. For some reason.
That sounds very interesting.
It's because I'm stupid is the reason, not for some reason, let's be honest.
Still, it's a fair bet here because they both have identical stats in both attack and defense. 33% everywhere where you look on those. On Himmelsdorf, so it's everyone's game.
It's a good 50-50 bet. You know,
a bit on my side because it's still defense of Himmelsdorf.
No, I'm confident. Let's have a look at the lineups and see if Gunrunners are doing any mems of different vehicles here, or are they going fairly sensible?
This is rather sensible because this is okay pickup here, but it's oriented mainly to push over the hill. And this is something they've done yesterday.
E3 on attack. We just saw an E3 on defense from them.
No, they've done this in attack.
Okay.
And E3 is often used in attack because you push it over the hill together with, you can use Crown Wagon. So unless they're trying to play some really weird mind game because they have also Ru, which is really hard to cap with, they might be intercepted by Suba.
I think, to be honest, Mojo, the Gunrunners lineup here looks amazing, looks vastly superior to what we're seeing here on eSuba.
Shiny disco balls.
Shiny disco balls indeed, Mojo. Now let's see if Gunrunners can make this lineup work for them. Can they bring it back to 2-2, or are eSuba going to take the lead 3-1? What's in it? Well, of course, there's points on the board, and there is the chance to see myself or Mojo wearing a bow tie the next time me and Mojo are casting. This also means I'm not going to take any bets with Daki tomorrow.
That also means that when you lose, I'm going to prepare the one for you specifically.
Ah, Mojo, careful now. I'm not looking forward to this. This also means I have to think of one for you then.
Sigo is spotting the 8 line. This is something they've done yesterday exactly like this. But you can see the aggressive approach here from eSuba immediately.
eSuba immediately closing in here onto Gunrunners, and Sego's taking a massive amount of damage. Now, let's see at the moment, Gunrunners are just kind of holding steady. They're pulling back. Enrico's taking damage there. Sego take a bit of damage, but Gunrunners are actually holding in there. Pratelicek and Ukets actually took a massive amount of damage. Let's listen into the team speak now of Gunrunners and how can they fight their way out of this.
Pojďme na kopec, pojďme se teplit na kopec a budeme si hrát kopec. Já jsem trojku se můžu dostat sem a můžu tady královat.
S tím baťákem už to projedu, jo, tam dolů potom.
Pojďte všichni up.
Spotuj, ať tady stojí někdo v tomhle
Ručko se dostane nahoru a bude spotovat jenom ten cross.
Já s tím baťákem to projedu, tady dozadu, jo.
by tady nepíkla. Já se tady otočím a když tak lipna, nebo?
Ne, to
Oni
ujďte,
to nepíknou, my to uvidíme. Krám to spotne teďka a vy se dostanete. Hele, dostaneme se na kopec, pojď. Hej, s tím batem dostaňte se okamžitě sem, aby se tady nebo sem.
Sigo hlavně spotuj toto, kdyby tady pušoval.
S baťákem tam můžu stát jako deala.
Tak tady já si můžu přesunout tu díru, že jo, kouknout se sem.
Ok, s králem pod sem na ten haldan.
Nebo s tím Ručkem by mohl stát tady a spotat teď jako všechno.
S batem se teď hoď na prdel, s Ručkem pojď.
Jo, actually, hej, pojďte někdo spotnout toto, jestli tady za 113 pořád v tom náměstí.
S Ručkem to takhle proje,
A tak já se můžu pojít sem a vyklipovat, jestli tam je třeba. Ne.
To je moc risky.
Dostaneš těch veček.
A vy zbytek pojďte sem.
Mají tam 90, mají 90 tady.
Mám to projedané nebo ne?
Nevidím, já
Můžeš
si
do
zkusím díry.
90 blindnout, Dane. No.
Není tam. Ale
Jako aby nám nevyjeli i s tou 113 na kopec, co? Jak to dělal Gohard třeba proti ním.
hele,
Máme Dane?
s tím kranem
Tam rolu? Nebo nechcem?
něco mě tu blindí jako.
Tady všichni, že nic nevidím.
90.
90.
My můžeme do kepu, ne? Když
Co
tak
tady si chtěl?
Ale
oni mají to.
dostat sem, ručka bychom si dostali, aby to ručko projel a dostal
No
se
počkej, já musím...
Tak zasní první. Já tu jdu spotovat Danovi teď.
Mám to projet s tou 7, Dane?
tou sedmičkou to projedeš dolů jenom.
Teďka nemůžu odjet, mě to, střílej.
Tak řekni Dane, jo, pak až tam budu.
Jo.
Dane, já ti jdu spotat.
Jo, on mě pořád prostě chce spotit, když budu odjíždět.
Ta 90?
Tak to odjeď tudy. Podél toho.
A tam ho taky viděj.
Tam nějaký spot.
Dane, ty tam máš nějaké bino nebo ne? Asi ne.
Já tam nemám bino.
Já ti jdu spotovat.
Kus.
Jako když oni najdou... 90 už je.
Jestli ho blindí
Okej,
odsať,
odjel jsem.
tak
Budou
jako
na kopec.
by bylo dobré vzít.
Jsou
to tam
tady,
vidíš to?
jde tady.
Hej ty Bčka,
Já vidím tam.
hej potřebujeme teďka dostat to ručko sem, aby začalo kemplat.
Dobrý, můžu.
Máme třeba nejdřív to ručko.
Tak máme 107.
S králem pojď dolů a tady máš tu hroudu a budeš pikovat na tady toto a my ty Bčka musíme tady jenom piknout tady ten roh, nic víc.
Tak
Jo,
můžeme
jo,
jet
Martio.
rovnou.
Já
na tohle
jdu
Martio, jo?
full speed, jo.
Tak my zatím koukáme tu prdele jako.
Jedno Bčko se otočte už, abyste byli
Nemám jet s tím růčkem tam, dolů, nebo mám
nesvítím. Projedeš to a jak Martin toto.
To což po mě Ranku, abych koukal toto?
Jo.
113.
Tak já tam jedu, Dane, jo?
Jo.
Za tím růčkem, já to budu
Bach, ať se nerozhodnou, že nám klipnou toho krana.
Cítím.
113.
Martio, to půjď tam normálně.
Nice. Dobrý, teď kepujeme, oni musí něco dělat.
Martio, tě můžou probít?
Tou sedmičkou hlídej si
Ne, nemůžou probít, ale já mám
Ty.
tak, že vyjedou odsud a vyjebou mě.
No, tak
Ty na
ti
kukera,
tě nevěbou.
My tam pokryjeme,
Tě nevěbou, Martio.
Hej, zbatem,
Aby nevzali všechny.
Jo, mají tam dvě Bčka tady.
OK, my kepujeme, oni musí vyjet. Oni budou to muset projet. Hej, s jedním Bčkem, dokážeš si...
Okay, now Gunrunners have able to got into a cap position here, Mojo, and it is protected as well at the moment.
Yeah, the eSuba is gathering up for the bloody counterattack that will come soon, because they are pretty much forced to. But Gunrunners managed to evade the push of eSuba from the start of the game. It was a close call. I thought the i7 might get caught, Enrico, but he kind of came around the corner maybe second before the Bachat peak to shoot there. So it was rather lucky for them. But Martin is taking damage here, and they're getting pressed from two sides, Ryan.
Martin is in a dangerous position now. He was in a nice hold down position, but looking in combat are going to take the fight to him. He's still protected by that rubble, but there's also the crossfire from his teammates of combat and looking come around this corner. Now, what can he do to protect the cap circle? Because the other tanks of eSuba are just waiting to sweep around that 5-6 line at the top on A5, A6. They're leaving Seagull in the cap circle on their own, and they're trying to get a crossfire here from Enrico. He's going to get side shots into Lukin. Big bit of damage there on Lukin. Lukin deflecting shots there. Ondrak's missing head on. Ondrax might peek for another one. He takes one damage as well. Pratilicek and Andrew coming around here to clip into Seagull now. Enrico and Ondrax have to be careful because they're wide open as well. Damage across the board here on eSuba. Health falling everywhere, but so is it on Gunrunner's side as well. And Mojo, I think Gunrunners just don't have enough HP to trade with them anymore, and you might be safe with your bow tie.
I mean, they have Will and Danny with a lot of HP, and Martin is alive on 1 HP with that commander, so there is still potential for this. But there is so much more guns here on the eSuba side. Once they get out of the reload, it's gonna be a huge problem here for Gunrunners. And let's remind themselves, yes, they have an advantage, but there's still an attack.
Danny wants to get a shot into either Lukin or combat, but he's going to be side on to Andrew and Ukets at the moment, and they're going to clip out into him. Like, Danny, this is a bold move. You're trying to play off against two tanks. He does get a kill on Lukin. Now, he needs to turn his armor to face the autoloaders who are going to clip out into him at the moment. Martin still surviving there on that 1 HP. Even if he gets another shot out, that could be vital, Mojo. Look at the pretty pattern, however, from eSuba's HP on the left-hand side.
This is really good, actually, for them at the moment, but Danny, whenever he turns here, he will receive a shot in the side. They will actually have to use the health of Will, because he's the only guy in this game with any significant HP and mobility to do it.
And the problem here for Gunrunners is they're on the attack. They have to make the move. They're down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and Gunrunners can happily sit back. They might even eventually send one tank away. They do have one tank up on the hill who's coming around the back, actually, and that's going to be vital to get crossfire shots.
And the problem is because Will is stuck up on a hill. He has to peek on some side and receive shots while he's doing so. Ondrax can effectively cover the angles against Froley here, because Froley is a constant danger for them in the back. But Will, if he loses too much HP while pushing, it's not gonna be Martin and Andre. Let's see what happens here.
Will going in for the YOLO, gets around and doesn't get a shot there. He misses the first one into combat, but he gets him on the second one. Now, Will has 2 shots available. Andrew and Pratilicek pushing around the other side as Danny's able to move forward now. There's no crossfire threat. Now, dangerous is that when Danny gets to the next junction, there's another crossfire has to go because Yukets is waiting below him and Pratilicek's waiting above him.
Pratilicek and Andrew are bringing a good choice. They are trying to leave this area and not fight from that side while leaving Yukets on the other. Problem is Froly is really inactive on. He's kind of hesitant because of the budget that Gunrunners have.
Andrew's going all the way around to get the drop onto Martin there. As Danny takes a shot, he's going to have to chase Pratilicek all the way around. Martin's looking to head off Pratilicek. Pratilicek stuck between a rock and an E3 at the moment as Danny gets another shot. Andrew, however, gets the kill on Martin. Danny needs to hurry up and kill Pratilicek, but Pratilicek is tracking him. He's holding him in that position. Danny trying to go for the weak spot here, but he missed, actually. And the shot's coming in the back from Yukets. Now Danny is going to get taken out. Will is the only one left with Ondrak still here. But look, Will has all the HP, and that's not going to help him in this situation.
He has 3 shells. He will probably kill Yukets here because that's just enough as he needs. But he's alone in this game. The other guys can just stretch him up all over the map. They don't have to fight him anymore. But he will also be in reload, so they can just approach and clip him out now. They know he's empty.
Will's fired 3 shots. They know he had fired one earlier on as well. He's on a reload. Do they come back and take the fight? Nope. They're just going to run up into the hill, or they're thinking about taking the fight, but they don't need the fight. They can just stay up the hill and say, Will, come and get us, mate. You can't cap out. And this is it. Mojo, I'm going to be wearing a bow tie next time I'm casting with you.
Guys, I'm accepting any nice suggestions and pictures. Just send them on the Facebook of our league. I will just take the best possible option. It's fine, even if I have to make from the paper.
It's going to be pink, I guess. Will gets clipping out
Pink.
into Andrew. Will manages to take down Andrew. He's on a 1-shot. Froly, are you going to be bold enough to take this? I mean, Will's going to try and charge up the hill, but he doesn't have the speed to get up there. Froly, just keep charging away, mate. You don't need to take that fight. And this is going to be eSuba going 3-1 ahead of Gunrunners here. And then we're going to be looking to go into Prokhorovka next, Mojo.
Prokhorovka, but still 28 seconds here. Maybe Froly will fall off a rock or run into a stray shell.
Dude, if he flipped
by
on his
Will.
roof, that would be so amazing. I don't think he'd actually make the counter because it's, I think, 30 seconds.
It's really, really far away, so the odds for you not wearing something special are quite slim.
But here's the thing, again, as you said, like, the teams 1 step ahead of each other. eSuba kind of having the read there on Gunrunners. But when it came down to the brawl, right to the end, right to the wire between these 2 teams, and the score, I mean, it's 3-1 to eSuba, but it's not exactly reflective of how these teams have been playing. The team fights, the brawls have been so close. So close.
In both sides.
But just not close enough for me, Mojo.
Hey, you took a chance against me, man.
Bosh is what I'm saying.
That's the intimidation factor, because like when I was betting Ducky last time or attempting to,
he was
100% right.
Yeah, and you weren't doing a handshake on screen.
No, he was like,
yeah, the handshake has
are
to
you
be
sure?
seen by the
And I
viewers.
just looked at him and I said like, yeah, I'm like 100 zloty sure, and he's like, no, I'm not taking that.
I was wanting to be 3 for 3 there. Then I was going to leave it for a long time and just let you and Daki do the betting between each other.
But what can you do now?
Now I have to wear a bow
I'm
tie.
really expecting nice suggestions.
Now you and Daki have to wear. You and Daki have to do a bet at some point as well.
There's time.
You need to keep the streak, Mojo, because my streak is crashed and burned. You know, so.
Crash and Burn was a great game, but here eSuba taking the game here, very close.
Yep.
3-1, so 1 game to each on the Himmelzorf, as I thought it would happen. But the next one can go either way. Like, this is so hard to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think personally it's going to be a Czech team that probably wins this match between these 2.
Wow. That would be a best bet ever.
That's all we can call at the moment who's going to do it. Yukets coming out there top damage, 3.2k. Then Danny, Will, and Rico all from Gunrunners, so a nice step-up game. Danny actually doing a nice bit of damage there, but I mean 11 shots and 3k damage. Maybe want a bit more for 11 shots.
Kirsten's combat nowhere to be found.
Andrew, so Yukets and Andrew working out for me and Daki. Tomasek not working out for me because he's not featured in the lineup so far, and this could actually be what breaks my team and allows you and Daki to gain even more positions.
Okay, combat is close.
looking not doing so great there. So that's kind of good for me. But yeah, I think you and Daki have got it this week again, Mojo. And it's the advantage of having just more credits in your fantasy team.
More credits?
More money.
More brain power, Ryan. Grain mess.
But it's just not true. Not at all. Cheats. You're colluding against me. How can I do that? Like, take on 2 years? I mean, I can maybe do it in a bar fight, but not in a fantasy game.
You had the same chance as we. You picked like 4 Dings players, 3 eSuba.
Wow,
you just didn't pick the best.
Cheats. Well, Karitz did farm me a lot of decap points yesterday.
Yeah, in the first match. Let's see other 2.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, like I says, I'm being generous this season. Last season, that was my main goal, just smash Daki Mojo. I accomplished that. I came 7th last season. It was a great place to be. This season, I just want to be generous. I just want to give players gold, you know?
Last season was just a test, and we know that the stuff didn't work out. Like, the website wasn't the great.
Oh, yeah, it was a website. It was a website. It was raw. That's what I think of that, Mojo.
Yeah, that was
right.
the Ryan's violin playing in the background. Still, 3-1 here for eSuba. They are looking like they're one step ahead of Gunrunners all the way, even when it comes to super close games.
Yeah.
So maybe they will have a good read on Prokhorovka, but even 1-1 would be enough.
Yep. Well, let's have a look at the lineups, what we're going to see. Is this where Gunrunners start to pull the crazy picks out of their bag? No, actually. It's fairly standard here from Gunrunners, but double IA7 from eSuba.
Well, Gunrunners using E5, Kranwagen and STRV. I kind of prefer when a team picks up an I7 instead of the Kranwagen, because Kranwagen pick is rather defensive, but maybe they will try some kind of quirky trap with it. Ru is rather standard spotter for Prokhorovka now for every team. But eSuba playing with 2 I7s and a Grille, which says that they might try a potential push from the start of the game somewhere, and I hope that somewhere is not a forest.
Well, to be honest, forest pushes are very dangerous for teams, and I kind of wish teams would stop doing it right now.
We've seen it work.
I've seen it work once.
Yes.
Out of something like 7 times. 5 of those times being from Kazna crew, I think. So it's never worked out really that great for them. I don't think they would try that, to be honest. I think they're just going to hold the middle round. But let's find out, Mojo, as we go to Prokhorovka, not Muravanka. Okay, now eSuba are the red team attacking into Gunrunners on the blue side defending, and eSuba are just going straight for that middle ground, Mojo, and sending some tanks on the right-hand side.
Overus immediately aggressively spotting the middle. Look at the amount of tanks that are following him. So yes, aggressive push by Suba, as I thought, toward the village side, which is a good play by them. But also Gunrunners are going for the same.
What are Gunrunners expecting here? This is a very unusual defensive lineup. They're expecting the push here from eSuba.
Well, they're just positioning all their tanks toward there. They're actually lying here in a trap on the lower side. This is kind of peculiar.
They're reading eSuba here. They know what they're going to do. They knew the IS-7s were going to push there, and they were ready for it, and Combat's taking a truck ton of damage. So, eSuba with the unorthodox tactics, pushing the 2 IS-7s over here on the 5-6 line. But no, Gunrunners knew this was going to happen. But in return, Danny is getting focused now in the Kranwagen. He goes down, so they're trading tank for tank. What can eSuba do back for this? Because they have just been completely read by Gunrunners.
This is a problem for them, because they still have the Lukin stuck there. But also Gunrunners, if they lose these Bachats, Ondrax and Rico, they're pretty much dead in the water. And don't forget, we still have a couple of eSuba tanks that need to arrive to the battle, but they lost so much already.
Andrew is a complete left behind in this battle. He's absolutely having no factor in it whatsoever as he's trying to run down the side of the rail tracks. Now Seago in the middle taking a truck down and damaging the RU but still surviving. Gunrunners have lost 2 tanks. They've lost the Kranwagen and a Batchat, and they still have Seago just surviving 37 health. In the meantime, however, though, eSuba have lost both of their IS-7s. Froley and his Batchat's now on a 1-shot. He's got a damaged gun. Pratilicek and his Batchat has got a damaged gun. He's a 3-shot. And Gunrunners are starting to close this one out, and it looks like they might be bringing it back to 3-2 already, Mojo.
Their play definitely worked out there. The trap they laid out worked well. It did look like they have a hint what eSuba might play, a good read on them. But let's be honest, I really don't think eSuba can come back from this one. Any skill, like the only guy that has some HP to play around with is Andrew. And he's in Grile, that's not a spotting tank. You need HP on rotational tanks like Bacats, Pratelicek, and Ukits. They're on half HP, and they're locked away. That's a problem.
I wonder if this has been something where they've played against each other like this in the Silver Series, and Gunrunners just quickly read the lineup and says, hang on a minute, guys, they're going to do that push.
Massive connection on Ondrax here, making him a one-shot. This actually might be a game changer if some of the eSuba tanks don't follow down.
Ondrax is going to blind fire out into Andrew. He connected with one there, didn't connect with the other
two.
one.
No, he connected two.
Uket's behind Andrew here. Now Martin's turning his turret, looking for a shot here. Pratelicek's unspotted. Overus is spotted. Uket's actually is spotted and getting shot at now. Looks like from Storm actually there in the middle. I mean, it's still, it's a hard task for eSuba. They need to get a kill on someone. Martin still has full health. Storm has still full health. I mean, Enrico might go down here. 2 more shots.
Oh my
God.
God.
That's a bad miss there. It's a bad miss.
You really need to connect those shots, but his gun is dead and he's sitting there just being a good target for the enemy. Catastrophic play in these moments by him, and Overus is down. I think this is round definitely going to Gunrunners, and this is gonna be a very tight game. Maybe another tiebreaker between these two.
Oh, Gunrunners. I want to know how they knew that one, Mojo, because that was really unorthodox play from eSuba, and Gunrunners were just sitting there waiting for it to happen. Andrew, a little salute there from you. But yeah, I mean, a really unorthodox play there from eSuba to push the 2 IS-7s over in that area. But Gunrunners were just set up waiting, like absolutely waiting, saying, we know what's going to happen here, guys. Like, unusual, very unusual.
Well, we've seen some of the teams keep the tanks there for like a minute or two. If you remember, we even did a video when Oops was playing against Ding. They kept 2 Bacats there and a heavy tank in front. They were just waiting to spring them for a counter-attack from those positions. They positioned the entire team there, so you can say they were waiting if someone is crossing the rail to shoot them in a flank and then just spring up and push ahead. So that's always a possibility. But why did even eSuba charge like that?
Well,
that's the part I don't like.
It was done before, I think, in the Russian finals. One of the teams just pushed right over that area and got a massive advantage. But, I mean, I can understand the play from eSuba. It makes sense. You catch the team unaware. They're totally not ready for it. I'm just really surprised that Gunrunners had the read in that and just said, well, we know what eSuba are going to do. We're going to wait for these tanks to do it.
Why don't you push the light head ahead of the heavies?
Yeah, why don't you peek
What kind
first?
of nonsense is that? No, not peek. Peeking will not say anything. They're behind the bushes. You don't see that. You charge a light tank ahead and then you push the I-7s. Otherwise, it's a nonsense. You don't spot with everything you have in a team.
Ondrax, 14 shots, 3.8k damage and 4 kills. That is a hyper carry there for his team. Storm and STRV doing 3.1, and then like the next difference is miles away at 2.3 there from Andrew in the Grill, which is not really that bad a score as well. But I mean, Ondrax and Storm just had an absolute field day there.
I was the beast of the sniping, especially, you know, STRV, how it does. Oh my god, combat.
Rickety wrecked. He got 1 shot out there before he got eliminated. That is
didn't even connect.
Unfortunate for you, Mojo. Looking not doing so great there either. And Uket's there at the top of the page there for eSuba. So, Gunrunners there, a complete read of eSuba's tactics, are able to bring it back to 3-2. Still, advantage lies with eSuba at the moment. I mean, they're only 1 round away from being on match point. And then they have the, you know, we can seal out the deal advantage, but hey, it's Ghost Town. God knows what Gunrunners are going to bring on Ghost Town. Even now, God knows what Gunrunners are going to bring, but it shows that when Gunrunners kind of play normal-ish tactics that they can actually play them. I mean, they've been really close here with eSuba.
Well, if you watch the stats, and we do often, like eSuba just fulfilled their destiny here. They had 0% so far. Nothing changed there. It went down in a blast. It was a very short game. And they can go to something they're doing better, and that's defense.
Yep, indeed, they're much better on the defense here. And do I see... Nah, nothing. Well, you guys will just have to wait and see yourself. I could just be throwing you an old rope of dope there. A little deception.
What, you want to see another double Jack Panther Gunrunners?
Dude, I would love something like double T95 would be amazing. But hey, let's have a look at the lineups and see what we're going to see here in this round now. Wow, almost a mirror match, but we see a Lorraine.AOC coming out for Gunrunners.
Lorraine.AOC there in attack, so that's a good thing to have if someone is trying to trap, because then you can just deal with them. But eSuba again playing with rather light setup there, so they can choose whatever they want to do. And honestly, not having an STRV for Gunrunners might cost them in some ways.
I tell you what, I wonder if Gunrunners are going to be cheeky enough to try and just do what eSuba did.
With an RT piece, I don't think so.
Let's find out exactly what Gunrunners have planned as we can jump into the battle now. eSuba are red side and they're going to be defending, and it's going to be Gunrunners blue side attacking into them. eSuba have a blue and white camouflage, and it's Gunrunners have the blue and dark blue, I guess, and black camouflage with triangles on them. The eSuba one's quite cool. It's very, very winter alpine 80s-esque.
It's kind of marine blue.
Yep. Oh, over us, just dodging artillery. They'd already taken a shot there as well. This is Danny on the artillery. What can Danny do?
Strong push coming in, like Kazna-like push from eSuba in the forest line. Let's see how will that go, because Gunrunners are around these areas. Andrew is only guy following the middle there, but Gunrunners are kind of split and they're starting to rotate. That might actually cost them, but eSuba is spotted now.
All three tanks here from eSuba are spotted as the rotation happens, and eSuba are going to take this position for free. And this is going to be the first time we see a successful push down the 1-2 line. Casna crew take note. Unji's on fire. He's focused. He's getting wrecked at the moment. He's going to go down. He might survive with a sliver of health. 86, but the next shot's going to kill him, and that's good night, Unji. First blood going to go to eSuba.
Well, he's still alive, so don't kill him yet. But the HP advantage and positions are all in the favor for eSuba. They will have to spring up for attack, and it will be Andrew who will they try to kill first, that's for sure. Let's see how will that go, because he is heavily covered. But Yuket, he needs to be more careful, losing a commander and so much HP there.
Yuket speaking over there, doing the side armor, best armor tactic, which obviously doesn't work for him, as Gunrunners are pinned in this area, and eSuba, the defensive team, are pressing the attack into Gunrunners, and they're looking to get different angles on them, just slightly chip away at that health. But Unji, still surviving here, Mojo. He could be a big factor in this battle if he can connect at least one shot.
Yes, even one shot will be enough, but now RT will be in effect. He will start to carry size 7, even slow damage, it will matter, because he can do it constantly while eSuba can't. They're still trying to find a way to rotate. Not finishing off a tank really matters. I mean, Anji being alive. Also, they need to use Overus much better than they are now. I mean, he was really passive in the start. Honestly, if he played it correct, he should have already been on a hill and shooting them in the back. Not now, when Martin is already there.
Andrew and Yuket's going all the way around here. Combat peeking over, just trying to hold Gunrunners into this area, stop Gunrunners from trying to get any vision whatsoever or any kind of feeling for where the rest of the tanks are for eSuba. If they can get this position, then that'll be great for them. They'll be able to get crossfire, but Martin is actually starting to make a move himself, Mojo, and he might spot this one out.
Yes, you can cross the rail like that also.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he was going to clear it completely or if he was going to actually mess it up there and just land on top of it and not make it.
No, we were talking like earlier on the start of the last season. I was hoping that someone will do a heroic push over that part of the rail and decap, like falling down from the sky like a boss. But no one was crazy enough, unfortunately.
Where Enrico is actually on the map, you can see him now at H5 on the minimap. To the right-hand side of him where the rails are, you can actually jump clean over the rails there as well. But you can only do it in a fast tank, and it looks awesome as well when you do it.
Martin taking some damage, he's spotted there on the hill and pushed. He's taking some more, losing a gunner, he needs to bail, parachute down. But there should be some cover fire coming in from the Gunrunners shortly.
Andrew going full YOLO mode after him, one more shot and he does get the kill onto Martin, so that's going to alert Gunrunners into a flank from eSuba. So Gunrunners are looking to push out from their area, Mojo. They're looking to take the overmatch in the middle of the map, and this is what they need to do, they need to break out.
This was the best play they could do at this moment. I was actually thinking they will do it much earlier, so they're now doing the full frontal YOLO attack before the tanks in their backs comes and takes care of them. But Froley in that STRV, we've seen the damage he can pump out.
Froley just taking hit after hit after hit onto Gunrunners there. As you can see, the IS-7 there from Combat just tanking everything coming his way. Enrico and Ondrax are able to get the kill onto Lucan, but Frawley gets the kill on Enrico. Ondrax is going to rush Frawley, but Ondrax is on a reload. Frawley's just going to get a free damage farm here. Look at this. This is like shooting fish in a barrel for him right now. Storm is about to go down as well, as Frawley is just saying, come on guys, line them up, let me knock them down. One more shot into Storm in the rear end. He actually bounces there. Storm still survives, and it's only Storm and Ondrax left. This is going to be eSuba taking this map 4-2, and they're going to be sitting on match point going into Ghost Town.
Is there anything that is not dead in Combat's tank there? He lost a commander, a driver, and Amorek. Like, this is really not a cool way for a guy that's supposed to bring me so much damage, but what can you do? Victory is victory, at least.
Yep, a win's a win, as we always said. I mean, God, we saw it earlier on in Kazna Crew versus Oops, where Haiba was able to survive a countdown against, what, 4 tanks and survived on a one-shot. So, I know you'll take it any way you can get it, and I guess for eSuba, that was very nicely done. Very aggressive from the defensive team, which is cool to see.
But that's normal when you play against RT. You don't want to give them that advantage. We've seen a couple of teams risk it and play the longer games against RT, but they were also very well covered. Still, this was definitely the best option here, and Gunrunners definitely did not cover their bases well, and they started leaving the forest too early.
Yeah, the rotation was just, oh man, so unlucky to do that at that time. And then also the Gorilla getting set on fire was like, was really asked. Frawley, 3k damage. Combat was in that IS-7 on the ridgeline, like totally commanding that area. 13 shots, 2.8k damage. Frawley, 3k damage with 2 kills as well, vitally. Then Andrew picking up 3 kills, 1.8 damage. Storm doing 1.9 there, the highest tank there for Gunrunners. And yeah, it was a nice play from eSuba. I really liked that, to be honest. They really had Gunrunners pinned in there, and they really made them pay for it.
Well, eSuba is now on match point 4-2, but we are going on the Ghost Town next. That's gonna be a dodgy thing. Like, the match can end any moment now. eSuba can pick up a first round, or they can just lose 2 and go in tiebreaker. And there is still potential for Gunrunners to win the match. This is not over.
It's true, it's not over yet. I was just thinking to myself as well, if eSuba win this match, it puts them on tied points once again with Oops as well for the 5th spot. So that's really interesting for Oops as well, because they're, you know, like Kazna said, they're hungry for points. Every match to them right now is really vital. So that will put them both on 14 points.
And same number of... No, they'll have one more game.
So, yeah, Oops will have a game, yeah, because this is the first round of the stage 3, if you like, of Season 2, the 3rd round robin. So this is it. The teams will only play each other again once, starting from today, and then that's it. We'll know who's going to go automatically to the LAN, and we'll know the 4 teams who are going to fight it out for those 2 remaining spots at the LAN.
Couple of more weeks, but we still need to see what will these guys do now on Ghost Town round.
That is true. Now, Ghost Town, are we going to get any crazy picks, Mojo?
I hope some... let's see who is just attacking first.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I'm not seeing
eSuba
this.
is attacking first, GRS defending. No, I think this will be rather standard in defense.
Brace yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We have a newcomer to the WGL this season. Put your hands together and welcome the Type 5 Heavy.
Oh dear.
Yes. They were trolling me. They were trolling me with the picks.
That's very good.
You son of a... They switched it out. They were trolling me. Oh man. I'm going to kill you for that. I'm going to kill you for that, Gunrunners.
Playing rather standard setup in defense. 250B, Z100, E, Udes, who they climb up. And then you have a Kranwagen, who's usually positioned around the middle, so he can decap the middle cap. And the mobile setup of eSuba. 2 baby butchats, a big one, 350Bs and 113. With this setup, we already seen multiple times you can go any side of map you choose, but it's the least possible they will just go straight to the lower side. There is no reason for it. I mean, to the open cap. There is no reason for it.
So what basically happened there is, as the teams were told to ready up, they moved a Type 5 Heavy up, and then they moved it back down. Trolling me. Well, let's jump into Ghost Round and see who's going to win this one. Will it be eSuba or Gunrunners? Let's find out.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
So thank you, Gunrunners, for that troll. I hope you can win this round and salvage a bit of pride from that. Now, eSuba, red team attacking into Gunrunners on the blue side are defending. And Mojo, do you think we'll continue to see the Udes always being picked here?
I hope not, because it's a static play I don't like, but super aggressive approach here from the start from eSuba. They're taking a big gamble with this because they know they cannot really cap with these 3 Bachats. They are hidden by houses at the moment. They will get broken and they will need to counterattack immediately with everything they have, Bachats included.
So Storm could be the one to peek and come round here. Seagull can also come round and get shots as well. Now, Gunrunners are posturing, Mojo. Ungi's down at the bottom, and there's the push through the middle as well from eSuba to try and get the counterfire. Storm overcommits. Now the Batchats are having to come out. They're going to get the drop onto Storm. It is the E100 that came forward. Now Frawley's taking a lot of damage, as is practically checking the 50B in the fight in the town as well. Storm's going to perhaps survive this one, Mojo. They're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him at the moment. As Frawley goes down, Storm is still surviving. Overus is on a reload, Combat's on a reload, and Frawley's already fell. So 3 Batchats could not take out that E100, and this is the beginning of the end for eSuba, and Gunrunners look to take this round already.
This is why I said this is such a gamble, because it's a nonsense and they didn't even pen all the shells. Even if they killed Storm, it wouldn't end well, because there's 3 Clippers in reload and the rest of the team is just getting pumped by the rest of the Gunrunners team. This is so one-sided game. Look at this. 2 tanks reviving and there is like almost everyone alive in Gunrunners team, only Martin is down.
8 minutes and 10 seconds, and eSuba only have 2 tanks left, 1 tank left, 2 minutes. This is going to be done and dusted. One of the quickest Ghost Town rounds we've ever seen here, and that from eSuba was
nonsense.
Rubbish, to be honest, I'm afraid. Yeah, that was really bad. 3 Batchats couldn't take down that E100.
But still, we have something good out of this round. Ryan made a great announcement of Type 5 Heavy. We can pre-record it for the next occasion. It will be used, maybe never.
Yeah. What basically happened is before the rounds, the teams are told to pick their tanks and stuff, and for whatever reason, they moved somebody that's not in the current starting lineup in the Type 5 Heavy up there. So I thought the Type 5 Heavy was there. So I got trolled by the admins and Gunrunners. Thanks very much for that. Someone's going to die for this later.
I don't understand why did they gamble in such important part of the game like this. I mean, more casual approach with that setup they had wouldn't bother them much more, because they can rotate easily around the map, unlike the Gunrunners. But let's see the stats and let's see who did it.
Let's see the stats. You know, perhaps if they did bring a Type 5 Heavy, they would have done a bit better here. But no, look, top 3 players all coming out from Gunrunners. Storm wading in there like Sauron in Lord of the Rings when he just cuts through all those guys from Elrond with his big massive mace and still surviving. Undrax and Danny coming in 3.2k and 2.9k respectively. Yeah, great game for Storm. Just wonder how many shots he actually took in at E100, because he was taking a truck ton.
Obviously, 1 less than needed for
Well,
eSuba.
he did a hell of a lot better than Combat Mojo, and you know, don't be sad. Don't be sad.
I can deal with it, mate. If Combat is doing better
At the
than
end of the
Tomasek.
day, I was going to say, if Combat does this all the time, he's still going to get more points than Tomasek because not even playing with them. So I'm just digging myself my own hole here, and then I'm hitting myself on the back of the head with the shovel and falling in it.
It's a big hole, Ryan. You can do it.
It's a huge hole. Very, very dark down there. If you throw me a match, you'll find out how dark it is.
No, it's gonna go out before it hits the bottom.
Possibly, yeah. Now, eSuba still on match point here. It is 4-3. I mean, this is the thing. eSuba can't really mess about here. If it goes to tiebreakers and Gunrunners are able to win it, it's the best outcome possibly for Oops. And it's one of the worst outcomes from eSuba, because they need to get those points to try and, you know, challenge Oops for their position. They want to avoid that 6th place. They want 5th place.
The thing is, if eSuba loses this round and go in tiebreaker on the mines, actually the better team there are the Gunrunners by all the games played so far. And I wouldn't risk it if I were them. I mean, first of all, they will lose points. Already they earned 1, but even if they win a tiebreaker, they win 2 instead of 3, and they will still be below Oops then in standings. And I think they need all 3.
Yep, and
I really do.
Oops will have a match in hand as well, so it will go completely against them. Now, I mean, 6th place is still a playoff spot, but at the end of the day, you're talking about prize money, you're talking about who you're going to potentially play against if you do get through that, you know, as well.
By the current situation, it can be either Go Hard, Kazna, and Ding, and at the moment, none of these are really prepared to face them.
Yep. Well, let's have a look at the lineups for round 2 now. I'm not going to pre-announce anything, we're just going to wait and see what comes up on screen. Double E100, IS7, and well, someone's going to be a bait again in that Scorpion. We know what's going to happen likely with this.
Yeah,
Potentially.
It's a Scorpion coming on the open cap to do a block for IS7, who will hide behind, and everyone else is covering them. And to be honest, the setup from Gunrunners is better. Especially since eSuba has these 2 FE heavies, they're great DPM tanks, but no armor, getting easily burnt, armor act. It's really offensive setup. I don't know, maybe they will even try some crazy YOLO like in last game now.
Yep. And the thing that Gunrunners can do is they could bait with that Scorpion. They could make it look like it's going to be a cap tactic and not actually do it. So, will we see this? Will we see Gunrunners bringing it back to 4-4? Or are eSuba going to win this one to 5-3? Now, eSuba red team defending, Gunrunners blue team attacking, and well, I think on the lineups I'd want to give it to Gunrunners Mojo, but I think maybe just having the match point advantage, eSuba might just seal the deal.
It's amazing that eSuba is playing so standard in these games, and they know that Gunrunners in several last matches played the one cap, always positioning people on B0 as you see them, and then pushing someone to that one cap, usually a Scorpion played by poor Sigo, and then someone behind him. And look at the position, like they're positioning the entire team there just to cover that.
So eSuba, I've seen this one before. Frawley taking a hit there in the WZ, peeking a little bit over there, shooting into the buildings to try and take out any cover. Frawley bouncing a shot there on the front of his tank as Seagull behind him continues to take out buildings in the cap circle. Sorry, looking actually. And now here comes the push as Seagull goes forward, turns himself side on. Enrico hides behind him. And you know, this is a standard. We've seen this before. This is like Seagull, unlucky mate. You know, you've drawn the short straw.
It's a big HE shell that came here from combat on Seagull. But that is the plan. That's not a loss. That's all part of the plan of the Gunrunners. And now we need to see how will the rotation from eSuba look like. Because unless they manage to single out some of the tanks and deny Enrico the cap in the process, this game is already lost.
Now, the potential danger that Enrico has as well is that he has to turn his gun turret to shoot, and his gun could actually be used because the gun has a hitbox. Uket's actually taking a truck ton of damage here as he backs off. He's down to a one-shot. One more hit will kill him as Lukin gets focused now as well. E100's here coming around doing a power of damage as Unji gets the kill on Uket's at the moment. Saigo is already dead for Gunrunners, but look at the return fire as Ondrax has nearly dropped to a one-shot here for Gunrunners, and Gunrunners need to get their guns back in the game here.
So far so good actually for eSuba because they're picking up the kills, and that's super important here. E100s are not most of the mobile tanks, and Enrico in I7, they just need to rest him from time to time and focus on everyone else. Anji will come back in the game, but he's only on one shot.
Gunrunners are caught in a crossfire. They're absolutely enveloped here by eSuba, and no matter what they do, they're getting shot in the back, they're getting shot in the side, and eSuba are just baking them into their teammate guns right now. Pratilicek and Andrew are about to come off reload in a minute in the AMX 50Bs, and Gunrunners just do not have the HP anymore. Storm's down to almost a one-shot. He's ammo-racked, he's tracked. Martin goes down beside him. Storm's now got his engine damaged. He goes down. Overus is now coming down looking for shots. Enrico's getting shot in the butt. And this is GG good night. eSuba are going to take this one 5-3. And that's some vital points on the board here against Gunrunners.
It does look like eSuba knew exactly what they're doing because they relied on these corner fights much more than Gunrunners. And we've seen already on Himmelsdorf they're actually better at it. So the game goes to eSuba 5-3. It could have ended anyway, honestly, in this one, like in a previous match with Oops, but there is always stay, and eSuba is winning the 3rd game in a row against Gunrunners.